In the quiet tapestry of human endeavor, few acts are as fundamental, as enduring, or as fraught with both triumph and disappointment as gardening. For centuries, the cultivation of the soil has been a cornerstone of survival, a testament to humanity's connection with the earth. Yet, even with the accumulated knowledge of generations, challenges persist. Among the most cherished and, at times, most frustrating crops for many home gardeners is the cucumber. Its lush vines promise crisp, refreshing bounty, but often deliver instead a bitter pill of unfulfilled potential. A common adversary in this quest for a prolific yield is a condition known as blossom end rot, a visible decay that tarnishes the fruit from its very tip, rendering it inedible. This blight, seemingly an act of nature's caprice, is in fact a symptom of a deeper physiological imbalance. For those who seek abundance without resorting to the synthetic solutions of modern agriculture, the answers often lie not in complex chemical formulations, but in the time-honored wisdom passed down through communities deeply rooted in the land. This is where the practices of the Amish, a people known for their deliberate embrace of tradition and their profound connection to the earth, offer a compelling and surprisingly scientific solution. Their methods, often dismissed as quaint or outdated, reveal a profound understanding of ecological principles, demonstrating that the secret to a thriving cucumber patch, producing like crazy, might just be found in something as humble as an eggshell, an object most of us unthinkingly discard. To understand the Amish approach to gardening, one must first grasp the foundational principles that govern their lives. Their story begins not in the fertile fields of Pennsylvania, but in the tumultuous religious landscape of 17th-century Europe. Emerging from the Anabaptist movement, the Amish sought a radical commitment to Christian discipleship, emphasizing adult baptism, non-resistance, and a deliberate separation from worldly society. Persecution drove many to seek refuge, eventually leading them to the shores of North America, primarily Pennsylvania, beginning in the early 18th century. Here, in a new world, they established communities where their core tenets could flourish unimpeded. Central to their way of life was self-sufficiency, a rejection of dependence on external systems, and a deep reverence for the land. Farming and gardening were not merely occupations. They were spiritual practices, extensions of their commitment to stewardship, simplicity, and hard work. The soil was not simply dirt. It was a sacred trust, a gift from God to be nurtured and protected for future generations. This philosophy fundamentally shaped their agricultural methods. While the Industrial Revolution swept through mainstream society, transforming farming into an increasingly mechanized, chemical-dependent enterprise, the Amish largely held firm to their traditional ways. The advent of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides in the post-World War II era marked a profound divergence. Mainstream agriculture embraced these innovations, promising ever greater yields and efficiency. The Amish, however, viewed these chemicals with skepticism, seeing them as unnatural intrusions that could harm the soil, the plants, and ultimately, the people consuming the produce. Their commitment to sustainable practices, to minimizing waste, and to relying on natural methods was not a nostalgic clinging to the past for its own sake, but a conscious, principled choice rooted in their faith and their lived experience. Their gardens became living laboratories of traditional knowledge, where methods refined over centuries, passed down through oral tradition and hands-on learning, continued to yield sustenance and embody their deepest values. It is within this rich historical and philosophical context that the seemingly simple practice of using eggshells takes on a much deeper significance, revealing itself not as an isolated trick, but as one thread in a meticulously woven tapestry of ecological wisdom. Before delving into the specific remedy, it is crucial to understand the nature of the plant we seek to aid. Cucumbers, members of the cucurbit family, are renowned for their vigorous growth and their potential for prolific fruiting. However, this very vigor comes at a cost. Cucumbers are heavy feeders. They demand a consistent and robust supply of nutrients from the soil to support their rapid development, from the initial vine growth to the formation of numerous fruits. Among the essential macronutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and the critical micronutrients, calcium often emerges as a limiting factor, particularly for fruit-bearing plants like cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers. Calcium's role in plant physiology is multifaceted and indispensable. It is not merely a structural component. It is a critical signaling agent within the plant's cells. Primarily, calcium is vital for the development and stability of cell walls. These cell walls provide structural integrity, allowing the plant to stand upright, and are crucial for the proper formation of fruit tissues. Without adequate calcium, cell walls become weak, leading to structural collapse and tissue breakdown. Furthermore, calcium plays a significant role in regulating water uptake and nutrient transport within the plant. It influences enzyme activity and helps to protect cells from heat stress. Unlike some other nutrients, calcium is primarily transported through the plant via the xylem, moving with water from the roots to the leaves and fruits. This unidirectional flow means that if water uptake is inconsistent or if the roots cannot access sufficient calcium, the rapidly developing parts of the plant, especially the blossom end of the fruit, will be the first to suffer. This brings us directly to the scourge of blossom end rot. This physiological disorder manifests as a dark, sunken lesion on the blossom end of the cucumber fruit, the part farthest from the stem. It is not caused by a pathogen, but by a localized calcium deficiency within the developing fruit, often exacerbated by fluctuating soil moisture. Even if the soil contains sufficient calcium, if the plant cannot absorb and transport it effectively due to erratic watering, root damage, or rapid growth, blossom end rot can occur. The cells at the fruit's tip, deprived of this essential nutrient, simply collapse and die, leading to the characteristic decay. For the Amish gardener, keenly observing the health of their plants and understanding their needs without recourse to laboratory analyses, the appearance of blossom end rot signals a fundamental imbalance, a call for a return to the Earth's natural provisions. Their solution, as we shall see, is elegantly simple and deeply rooted in both traditional wisdom and scientific principle. Within the Amish tradition of minimal waste and maximal resourcefulness, the humble eggshell finds a second life, transformed from kitchen refuse into a potent soil amendment. This practice, often passed down through generations, is a testament to an intuitive understanding of nutrient cycling and plant biology. The core of an eggshell's power lies in its primary chemical composition, calcium carbonate, or CO3. This compound, familiar to us in chalk and limestone, is a remarkably effective source of calcium for plants, provided it is made available in the correct form and over the appropriate time frame. When eggshells are incorporated into the soil, they do not immediately release their calcium. Instead, they embark on a slow, deliberate journey of decomposition. Soil microbes, fungi, and the natural acidity of the soil gradually break down the calcium carbonate. This process releases calcium ions, Ca2, into the soil solution, where they become available for absorption by plant roots. The effectiveness of this process is directly related to the surface area of the eggshells. Large, unbroken shell fragments will decompose very slowly, taking years to offer significant benefit. However, when eggshells are crushed, pulverized, or finely ground, their surface area dramatically increases, accelerating the rate at which calcium ions are liberated into the soil. This slow-release mechanism is a distinct advantage, providing a steady supply of calcium over an extended period, which is precisely what plants like cucumbers require for consistent growth and fruit development, preventing the sudden deficiencies that can trigger blossom end rot. Beyond calcium, the presence of calcium carbonate can also subtly influence soil pH. For soils that are naturally acidic, the addition of eggshells can help to neutralize some of that acidity, making the soil more hospitable to a wider range of beneficial microbes and enhancing the availability of other nutrients. Many essential plant nutrients become less available to roots in highly acidic conditions. By gently nudging the pH towards a more neutral range, eggshells contribute to overall soil health, creating a more balanced environment where plants can thrive. However, it is important to note that the effect on pH is generally modest and gradual. Eggshells are not a quick-acting lime substitute, but rather a long-term soil conditioner. This nuanced understanding of soil dynamics, gleaned from generations of observation and practice, underscores the sophistication hidden within such a seemingly simple act of recycling. The Amish gardener, by not tossing their eggshells, is not merely preventing waste. They are actively engaging in a sophisticated form of soil enrichment, directly addressing a critical nutrient need and fostering a more resilient and productive ecosystem beneath their cucumber vines. The transformation of discarded eggshells into a vital garden amendment is a meticulous, yet straightforward, process within Amish homesteads, embodying their philosophy of resourcefulness. The first step, naturally, is collection. Every egg cracked for breakfast, baking, or cooking is saved, often rinsed to remove residual albumin, which can attract pests or lead to odor, and then allowed to dry completely. This drying process is crucial, as it prevents mold and makes the shells easier to crush. Once dry, the shells are prepared for application. There are several traditional methods for preparing eggshells, each with its own advantages. The most common involves crushing them by hand or with a mortar and pestle. For larger quantities, some Amish communities might use more robust, hand-powered grinders or even run them through a small, dedicated mill, achieving a finer powder. The finer the particles, the greater the surface area, and thus the faster the decomposition and calcium release. A coarse crush, while slower acting, provides a more sustained, long-term release. Some gardeners even bake the shells at a low temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes after drying, which makes them more brittle and easier to crush into a finer powder, potentially also sterilizing them. The goal is to maximize the shell's ability to integrate with the soil and interact with its microbial life. Application typically occurs in one of two ways, or a combination thereof. For new plantings, a generous handful of finely crushed eggshells might be incorporated directly into the planting hole before placing the cucumber seedling. This ensures that a readily available source of calcium is present in the root zone from the very beginning. For established plants, or as a preventative measure throughout the growing season, crushed eggshells are often scattered around the base of the cucumber plants, forming a ring. These are then lightly scratched into the topsoil or covered with a thin layer of mulch. As water permeates the soil and as soil microbes begin their work, the calcium carbonate slowly breaks down. This method provides a continuous supply of calcium, buffering against sudden deficiencies. Another significant application of eggshells in Amish gardening is through composting. Eggshells are a valuable addition to the compost pile, enriching the finished compost with calcium. When this calcium-rich compost is subsequently added to garden beds, it uniformly distributes the nutrient, improving overall soil structure and fertility. This integrated approach highlights the Amish understanding that soil health is paramount and that individual amendments are most effective when part of a broader, holistic strategy. While the scientific literature suggests that significant calcium release from eggshells can take several months, even up to a year for coarser fragments, the consistent, generational application of this practice ensures a continuous buildup of available calcium in the soil. The Amish gardener is not looking for an instantaneous fix, but for a sustainable, enduring improvement to the land they tend, an improvement that ultimately leads to the bountiful, unblemished cucumber harvest they seek. Beyond the shell, a holistic approach to soil health while the practice of utilizing eggshells for cucumber production is a fascinating and effective example of traditional wisdom meeting scientific principle. It is crucial to understand that it is not an isolated technique. Within the Amish agricultural paradigm, The eggshell is but one thread in a rich tapestry of sustainable practices, all woven together to create an environment where plants can thrive naturally. Their approach is fundamentally holistic, centered on the profound belief that a healthy plant is a reflection of healthy soil, and healthy soil is the result of continuous stewardship. One of the cornerstones of Amish gardening is an unwavering commitment to soil building. Rather than relying on synthetic fertilizers that provide isolated nutrients and can degrade soil structure over time, Amish gardeners prioritize organic matter. This involves the systematic incorporation of homemade compost, animal manures from their own livestock, and green manures, cover crops, into their garden beds. These organic materials do more than just supply nutrients. They improve soil structure, enhancing its ability to retain water and air, and fostering a vibrant ecosystem of beneficial microorganisms. It is these microorganisms that are the true architects of soil fertility, breaking down organic matter, cycling nutrients, and making them available to plants. The eggshells, in this context, become another form of organic amendment, slowly enriching the microbial environment and providing essential minerals. Companion planting is another widely adopted strategy. This involves planting different species together that mutually benefit each other. Certain plants can deter pests, attract beneficial insects, or even improve the growth of their neighbors by releasing specific compounds into the soil or by providing shade. For cucumbers, companion plants like nasturtiums can deter cucumber beetles, while marigolds can repel nematodes. Beans and peas, as nitrogen fixers, can enrich the soil, indirectly benefiting heavy feeders like cucumbers. This intricate dance of plant relationships minimizes the need for external interventions, creating a resilient, self-regulating garden ecosystem. Crop rotation is also meticulously practiced. Planting the same crop in the same spot year after year can deplete specific nutrients and encourage the buildup of pests and diseases specific to that plant family. By rotating crops, for instance, following cucumbers with a nitrogen-fixing legume, then a root crop, the Amish gardeners break pest and disease cycles, maintain nutrient balance, and prevent soil exhaustion. This long-term perspective on land management stands in stark contrast to the often short-sighted practices of monoculture prevalent in industrial agriculture. Furthermore, the use of natural mulches, such as straw, dried leaves, or wood chips, is commonplace. Mulching conserves soil moisture, suppresses weeds, regulates soil temperature, and as it slowly decomposes, contributes organic matter back to the soil. This reduces the need for frequent watering and weeding, allowing the gardener to focus on other tasks while simultaneously enriching the soil. All these practices, from the meticulous composting to the thoughtful companion planting, converge to create a garden that is not merely a collection of individual plants, but a thriving, interconnected system. The eggshell, therefore, is not a magic bullet, but a logical, waste-reducing component within this deeply integrated, sustainable approach to nurturing the land and its bounty. It exemplifies a way of gardening that prioritizes the health of the entire ecosystem over quick-fix solutions, a testament to the enduring wisdom of feeding the soil, not just the plant. The enduring success of Amish gardening methods, particularly the subtle yet powerful application of eggshells for robust cucumber production, is not merely a testament to their practicality or their scientific underpinning. It is, perhaps more profoundly, a testament to the power of generational knowledge transfer. Within Amish communities, the transmission of skills and wisdom occurs not through formal schooling or written manuals, but through an immersive, hands-on apprenticeship that begins in childhood. Children learn by observing, by participating, and by doing, working alongside their parents and elders in the gardens and fields from a very young age. This intimate connection to the land and its rhythms fosters a deep, intuitive understanding that is often lost in more industrialized societies. This system of oral tradition and practical demonstration ensures that effective techniques, refined over centuries, are preserved and passed down. When an elder teaches a younger generation about preparing and applying eggshells, they are not just imparting a gardening tip. They are transmitting a piece of cultural heritage, a philosophy of stewardship, and a practical solution to a common agricultural challenge. The importance of observation is paramount. Without access to soil testing kits or complex chemical analyses, Amish gardeners rely on their keen senses, the feel of the soil, the color of the leaves, the vigor of the vines, and the appearance of the fruit. Blossom end rot, for them, is not an abstract deficiency but a direct message from the plant, signaling a need for intervention, often met with the tried-and-true method of calcium enrichment through eggshells. This resilience of traditional methods is particularly striking when contrasted with the fluctuating trends and often short-lived fads of mainstream agriculture. While modern farming has seen cycles of chemical reliance, genetic modification, and technological dependence, the Amish have maintained a consistent path, continually validating their methods through the very act of successful cultivation. Their gardens are living laboratories where the proof is in the harvest, abundant, healthy produce year after year. This consistency underscores the inherent sustainability of their practices, which are designed not for maximum short-term yield, but for long-term ecological balance and enduring productivity. In a contemporary world increasingly concerned with environmental degradation, food security, and the health implications of industrial farming, the old Amish way offers a compelling counter-narrative. It aligns remarkably well with the principles of the modern organic movement, permaculture, and regenerative agriculture, movements that gained significant traction in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. These movements, often spearheaded by academics and activists, advocate for many of the same principles that have been foundational to Amish farming for generations. Soil health, biodiversity, waste reduction, and a respectful partnership with nature. The Amish, without ever formally joining these movements, embody their ideals, demonstrating that sustainable, prolific gardening is not a new invention, but a rediscovery of wisdom etched into the very dirt of their heritage. Their quiet persistence in these practices stands as a powerful testament to the enduring value of connecting with the land, understanding its needs, and nurturing it with care and respect, ensuring that the lessons of the past continue to bear fruit in the present and for the future. From the frustrating sight of a blighted cucumber to the abundant harvest of a thriving vine, the journey through the old Amish way reveals more than just a gardening technique. It unearths a profound philosophy, a heritage of stewardship, and a practical science that transcends generations. The simple act of not tossing eggshells, but rather transforming them into a vital soil amendment, is a microcosm of a much larger, deeply integrated approach to living with the land. It speaks to a commitment to resourcefulness, a rejection of waste, and an intuitive understanding of ecological balance that has allowed the Amish to cultivate sustenance for centuries. We have explored the specific mechanism, how calcium carbonate from eggshells slowly decomposes to release essential calcium ions into the soil, directly addressing the physiological needs of heavy feeders like cucumbers and preventing the debilitating blossom end rot. But beyond this specific solution, we have seen how this practice is seamlessly woven into a holistic system of soil building, companion planting, crop rotation, and generational wisdom. It is a system that prioritizes the health of the entire ecosystem, from the microbial life in the soil to the vigor of the plants, over quick-fix solutions or chemical interventions. The Amish approach serves as a powerful reminder that some of the most effective solutions are often the simplest, yet require patience, observation, and a deep respect for natural processes. In an era dominated by industrial agriculture and its complex challenges, their enduring methods offer a compelling alternative, demonstrating that abundance can be achieved through harmony with nature, not dominion over it. Their quiet gardens, teeming with life, stand as living testaments to the power of traditional knowledge and the timeless wisdom of treating the earth not as a resource to be exploited, but as a sacred trust to be nurtured. So, the next time you crack an egg, consider the humble shell. It holds not just a story of sustenance, but a legacy of profound connection to the soil, offering a pathway to make your own cucumbers produce like crazy, the old Amish way.